Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? This is video number 2 in the 2 video series on a campaign I was going to run back in 2012, which I had to put down after my life got a little bit crazy and I had some major life issues to work out. So if you haven't watched the first video, go back and watch that because that tells you what the players know. And this video is about what's really going on. If you're a player in one of my games, maybe you shouldn't watch this because maybe this is not what I'm going to use. And otherwise, of course, you're free to steal this. I didn't make any of this up. I just kind of, put it together as an amalgam, but I thought it was a cool little idea. So what's really going on? Humans are not from this world. They are a star-faring race. They've, been involved in colonization and conquering and exploration for millennia. They came upon this world, and lo and behold, there's real magic in this world. They had no idea what to do, and so this was a bit of a problem for them. They're used to finding other races, but not like this. Halflings are genetically altered people. They are a created race. The reason that halflings are so helpful is because they're genetically altered to be that way. They're also made to be little and teeny because that was very useful in a spaceship, because they could be the maintenance guys, they could go down the ducts, they could do all this stuff, and they were genetically, kind of altered to be really pleased to do this and to like that. So that's why halflings are the way they are. That's a lot of halflings. Gnomes are just kind of a fey race that when things really, hit the fan, and I'll explain that in a minute, they just ran. So, they're around, but they're not stupid. They're staying out of the way. As far as this world is concerned, the game world, goblins were the dominant race for a long time. And they weren't, always the evil race you think of, but they were the first race to really kind of figure out and use magic, and they became a very powerful race. They taught the elves about magic, and eventually the elves kind of rebelled against them, but they never really had the numbers to really, go up against the goblins, so there was just always kind of a bit of a rivalry. Goblins created bugbears as shock troops to use against elves and eventually humans, and they created hobgoblins as a great army. But goblins were the dominant race. The goblinoids kind of ruled everything. They had giant cities, and it was all about magic. And dwarves, on the other hand, dwarves were just they're dwarves. They lived underground. They did their thing. I'll get back to that a little bit. Humans came down here and ended up having a ginormous war with goblins. The goblins used magic against them, and for a while they tolerated humans and let them kind of colonize. But then things got bad. So goblins used a lot of powerful magic to destroy human cities and society. Humans, on the other hand, they were starting to get the hang of magic, but they pretty much used nukes. When things really got bad, they tried to wipe the goblins out by just bombing the heck out of their cities, because they brought some stuff with them, all kinds of nifty, all the ray guns and all that kind of junk. So things got very, very bad. Dwarves kind of fought on both sides, and dwarven society, such as it was, just got broken. The elves kind of, retreated. And, elves feel like magic is their own. Now that goblins are pretty much just about wiped out, they feel like this is their right. They hate anybody else using magic. They feel they are superior. If they could wipe the other races out, they would. But they absolutely, hate humans. They had bred with humans a little bit, and that's why there's half-elves. And they see half-elves as kind of an abomination as well. And anybody that uses magic is kind of like they just puts a bad taste in their mouth. They feel like it's theirs, and they want it back. Trying to say, what else am I missing? Oh, orcs. Orcs are pretty much, humans that got cursed by some goblin magic when goblins were really, going, all at it in the war. They pretty much, mutated a bunch of humans and turned them into orcs. Anything they could do to psychologically, or otherwise kind of rout humanity, they did that. So this is a race of humans that just got completely mutated by goblin magic. And of course, half-orcs are just what happens when orcs and humans are hanging around too much. That's what happens. So that's really what's going on in the world. And then, as far as the goblin activity, well, they're coming back. They're making a second try. Humans have lost all their technology over time. They pretty much blew it. The war just really destroyed everything. So it's amazing that anything survived. And now in terms of all the little details of what's going on and why are goblins back, well, that was something that I was going to keep on working on as the campaign progressed. But they're back. They're trying to take back what's theirs and take the world back. And so you're not just going to meet the usual goblins you think of that are little nuisance raiding guys. There are magic users. There are people there that are going to cause quite a bit of problems. So that's what's really going on in the world. That's something that would take the players a long time to figure out because they're all humans. They may never figure out some of this stuff. But that's the basic idea. And I figured it'd be really neat to put little hints and stuff in the way. And I also thought it'd be kind of neat to have a space station still orbiting the planet. They might be able to find that, and that might have some extra goodies on it and some extra intrigue. But that would be for a long-term campaign. So that was really what was going on.